Hello and welcome to all you beautiful souls who are actually tuning in and watching this. I think there's 5 views at least on every video so far. I wish I knew how to market. If anyone out there wants to help me market these videos, I would appreciate it because I don't edit these videos. I do this in one take. I'm sure you guys can tell. And I really don't know anything about marketing. I don't like marketing. I don't like pushing things onto people. I feel that things end up in your hands at the right time. Divine timing is a thing. And when you need it, things just appear. And because of that, this is why I'm putting this whole thing out here for free. Is education is important. And I would like more marketing just for more eyes on the subject, to be honest with you. Just look at what's going on in America right now. This is narcissistic abuse on a national level. This is a narcissist in office. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, today is chapter 11, reading of my book, Turn Your Magic All the Way Up, A Ridiculous Guide to Discovering Yourself After Narcissistic Abuse. The longest title I could possibly come up with. Little book, long title. Available on Amazon in many forms. We have Kindle, we have Paperback, we have, what's the other one? Audiobook. I read my own audiobook on Audible. For some reason, I was able to figure out how to publish a book and read my own audiobook, but I'm a Luddite about everything else as far as technology goes and marketing. So, yeah, that's why we're here. Whatever. What's meant to be will be, right? Here we go, peeps. Chapter 11. Rock Bottom and Choosing Me. I forgot to mention that I wrote this book with an accompanying Spotify soundtrack. The link to the Spotify soundtrack will be in the description below. Feel free to listen along as I read this, or listen later, or just to understand why I'm listing names of songs as I go through the book. Here we go. Song. Don't Need a Man by Liv Grace Blue. I am done with guys and dating, finally. It'd be done. So done. Zero interest. Let me die alone. It'd be way better than the invalidating torture I had been subjecting myself to for the last 3 years. I had heard all about loving yourself and treating yourself the way you wish someone else would, that you should take yourself out for dates, buy yourself flowers, etc. You should, quote unquote, treat yourself. So I decided for the next year that I was going to do just that. I had wasted thousands of dollars on the 3 narcs, none of whom appreciated it, and they all resented it. Instead of appreciation, it was always, I didn't ask you to do that. It was high time I spent that money, attention, and love on someone who deserved it and had been overlooked for far too long. Me. But first I had to come face to face with why I kept choosing the same guy over and over again. There was something wrong with me, and I knew that if it was me, then I could figure it out and fix it. That gave me incredible hope. I knew I had the willpower to fix myself. I just had to figure out what the fuck it was that I needed to fix. Moving in with my dad until I figured out where I was going next was the catalyst to discovering it all. If I haven't mentioned before, my dad is the king. My dad's king is the dollar bill, y'all. He is so cheap. He won't run the gas floor heater in his house because it costs money, even though it gets fucking freezing in there, and he has more than enough money to cover it. He is Scrooge McDuck on steroids and hoards his dough. My first night sleeping at his house after breaking up with narc number 3 and still not sure where I was going to go next, I had cried myself to sleep. I woke up in the wee hours of the morning needing to pee really bad. But fuck, it was too cold to get out of bed because Dad had refused to turn on the heat. I was warm under my electric blanket and loath to leave it. Instead, I waited to get out of bed until I absolutely couldn't stand it anymore. Well, that was a mistake because I didn't make it to the toilet and I ended up peeing on myself. So there I was, having to wash myself off in a fucking freezing cold bathroom at 4 a.m. crying. And when I tried to switch on the ancient electrical wall heater, I blew a fuse. The power everywhere immediately went out. Shit. Song IDK by Bruce Weiner. I hope I'm saying that right. Earlier that day, my dad had warned me that when I ran the space heater in my room, my electrical blanket, and the wall heater in the bathroom all at the same time, that it would throw the breaker. I didn't know where to go to reset it, so I climbed in bed and waited, feeling the warmth slowly ebb from my nice little cocoon. I would have to wait until my dad woke up and read the text that I had sent him, apologizing and asking if he could show me where the breaker was when he got up. That way, next time I could do it myself and at least not disturb him. Once the sun came up and we were both awake, I explained to him what had happened. Instead of compassion, he needled me. See, you don't listen to me either, he laughed, having zero empathy. He didn't realize that, that was literally the one sensitive subject for me, considering being heard is what broke up my relationship with narc number 3. And B, I was raw and emotional, and I literally just had pissed on myself. So the last thing I needed was someone making fun of me about how I felt unheard all the damn time. I snapped at him that if I didn't have to beg for the bare fucking minimum of heat from him to help his own daughter not piss herself during the night, that would sure be nice. I then ran out of the room in tears. God damn it, I had just been here. I had just gone through this very thing of not being heard or respected and running to my room to cry and calm down. My sanity was hanging on by a thread. The very next day, my dad and I had yet another incident where I asked as kindly as I could for a favor. I asked him to please just try hearing aids as a Christmas present to me. I was tired of having to raise my voice just to have him hear me, when half the time he tuned me out anyway, and I frequently had to repeat myself. Again, instead of compassion, he blew up in a rage. When he once again had hurt my feelings and had reduced me to tears while I was at my lowest and most vulnerable, he yelled at me, "Do you know how hard I had it with my dad? You don't know how good you've got it." This was a brilliant light bulb moment for me. I screamed, "So that's what this is about? All these years of you making me feel terrible for asking for the bare minimum from you, or asking for your help, and you making me feel unworthy and like a failure, is because you're punishing me for having it easier than you did? Because of something I have absolutely no control over at all? That's abuse, Dad." Song Bathroom Floor by Maddie and Tay. And another trip to my room to cry and calm down on my own. I felt like I was losing my goddamn mind. What the fuck was going on? And then it hit me. Oh my God, my dad really is a narcissist. And then, oh my God, I was raised by an alcoholic narcissist. Oh my God, I experienced narcissistic abuse from my own father. Oh my God, I was emotionally neglected and never validated by my father growing up, so I keep finding the same pattern in the guys that I date. There it was, clear as fucking crystal. It was like it was raining puzzle pieces down. Boom, boom, boom. They were smacking down right in front of me, right into place. And my life started to make total sense. I had never felt deserving. I had never felt like I was good enough or worthy of good things. I hope I can make it through this without crying. This is like therapy, I swear to God. I constantly searched for other people, usually boyfriends, to validate that I was a good person. Pretty enough, smart enough, reliable enough, trustworthy enough, dependable enough, perfect enough, all the enoughs. I had been repeating the cycle that I was shown was quote unquote normal for a relationship, and was seeking in my partners what I could never feel from my own father. In the partners I chose, just like my dad, I would never get the validation I was needing. I needed to find it in myself so that no one could hurt me ever again. I had to build up my own ego from nothing. I had to finally believe that the person I had been making myself into over the last 4 decades, trying to be perfect for someone to love, already was perfect to love. So, this is the I am enough everyone talks about. I am all the enoughs. I am. In all my striving to be quote unquote perfect to win approval, my idea of perfection was to be a good-hearted, kind, and generous person. I became all those things. I am all those things. I've been waiting for other people to tell me, yes, you are a good person. You're a good girl and you deserve all the good things. In realizing that I need to not only hear that, but believe it, I found that my peace would come from finally having the truth sink in. Even with all the stupid mistakes I've made in the past, when I didn't know what I was doing or the reasons behind it, I have always been a good person and I'm enough just the way I am. I could forgive myself for those mistakes because now that I know the reasons why I did them, I know I could never do those things again. That's how growing and learning works. When I recognized the childhood abuse, I could allow myself to accept it as true, and I could validate my own feelings and experiences from when I was young, and it released me from guilt. Realizing that I really am worth loving and that I really do love the human being that I have become freed me in ways that I really didn't think were possible. It wasn't my fault that I was programmed for abuse. Such joy in these realizations, such peace. This made me realize that I needed to write a book. Song, Life is Calling by Beth Hart. With that revelation and this new urge to write, I felt a calling, clear as anything I have ever felt before, as natural as breathing. I felt a calling to be a writer, to get my weird sense of humor and crazy stories and awesome music down in a one-of-a-kind book that maybe, just maybe, could help a ton of people who are also out there struggling. The bright firework explosions of ideas and future hopes and dreams happening in my brain was fucking exhilarating. I felt more energized than even Provigil had ever made me feel. More than even before I had gotten sick. And that's when I realized that if we could all just figure out what our true calling in life was, if we could all put the pieces together and love ourselves and our stories, we could heal the whole damn world one person at a time. It really does all start with one. Who knew? And no matter where you are now or the person you were before, it's never too late to change. I started hearing love songs differently when I started focusing on me. I put myself in both roles when I listen now. And it always makes me smile instead of being sad that I'm not in a relationship with someone. I am always with someone now. I am whole with my inner child. It's me and her taking on the world together. I see her. I am listening to her. I am finally giving her what she was begging for from everyone around her and never got. And I've honestly never been happier in my entire life. I am at peak happiness level again. It sounds insane is what it does, but it sounds crazy, but it feels like Nirvana, and I don't mean the band, or what I would imagine Nirvana to feel like anyway. I'm just naturally happy all the time now. Sidebar, I'm reading a book. There have been lots of ups and downs since then. I did not remain happy, but that's what the second book is about, so stay tuned for that. But that's life. It's okay, guys. I'm just telling you that you can get over the abuse and it gets better. Here we go. I am just grateful, and I shouldn't be because I just had 3 terribly traumatic breakups. And I just had to move again for the 6th time in 3 years. And yet, I felt so awake and enlightened. That led me to think of how I would try to describe how happy I am to a perfect stranger without sounding crazy. It's a ridiculous thing to try to put into words. That's when I decided on Nirvana. And then I looked at my cat, Libby, and burst out laughing because it does sound ridiculous. This is all so woo-woo to me. So hippy-dippy. Is this real life? But I mean, how else would you describe Nirvana but as a sense of overwhelming peace and happiness? I feel as though I can almost visualize my future. It's weird. I'm excited to see if my premonitions come to pass because it sure seems real to me. And what does that mean then? Did I tap into something powerful and I have no idea what kind of energy wave I'm riding? I don't know, maybe. The new theme in my life is why not? Why the fuck not? I have made the conscious decision to entertain that daydream. Why not? Why wouldn't that all make perfect sense when you think about it? That once you tap into where you're supposed to go, when you're finally doing what makes you happy, when you figured out where your trauma and abandonment issues come from, when you finally put all the pieces together and you can forgive everybody all at once, suddenly you just feel so light and relieved of all guilt. Suddenly you feel nothing but pure joy in being alive, ready to experience it all and solve the puzzle that is life. Song Hymn by Kesha. Kesha. And when I say hymn, I don't mean him, H-I-M. Hymn, H-Y-M-N by Kesha. Love you, girl. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I have it all figured out. I'm going to lose my temper and do things wrong sometimes. Oh yeah. I'm never, ever going to be perfect. But honestly, no one likes perfection. I likes a perfectionist anyway. We respect and listen more to those who have made mistakes and learned from them. It shows our humanity. Even talking about the fact that I might be quote unquote special and that I've awakened to the key to happiness makes me cringe inside. But I can't deny how fucking weird things are right now. So I'm rolling with that too. That I really am a rare creature. A unicorn, if you will. Why not? What would it hurt to just pretend? When you tap into the right energy field, you feel like you can finally breathe and you think this is paradise. Maybe we're looking at it wrong and thinking nirvana is a destination. Maybe nirvana isn't a place, but a state of being in your own body, mind, and soul connection. And wouldn't that be fucking awesome if it's real? Because I have the answer to that. The answer? An incredible amount of pain and trauma. Ta-da! I'm sorry about that. At least in my world, that's what did it. Hitting rock bottom with nothing left to lose. But it's that narc relationship trauma that made me dig into my childhood, which is what made me tie the pieces together that explains so much. This, combined with my ability to basically retire for a year, has allowed me the opportunity to hermit myself away from society and focus intensely on myself. I wish everyone who experienced trauma had that luxury. It has been immensely healing. I don't have children, so I can entirely isolate and really focus on my own inner child and give her all the attention and validation she felt she missed out on growing up. The little girl inside of me only ever wanted to be heard, seen, made to feel that she was worth something, made to feel that she was important. She just needed to be reassured at that one crucial moment in her childhood development that she was good and worthy and enough just by being herself. She was let down on this one simple, basic task. An awful lot of us were. That fucking hurts. But I forgive my dad because he didn't know any better either. He had some of the coldest parents I've ever known, so the fact that he can have love for me at all is enough. It's pretty good progress for a narc, actually. But I digress. Finding nirvana also stems not just from recognizing trauma cycles, but also from giving in to every whim of my inner child, no matter how rainbow, unicorn, stuffed animal, My Little Pony, Halloween decoration she wants to get. Look around. Fuck it. Give in to your inner child and see where it takes you. I'm going to be the parent that awesome, smart, talented, creative kid never got. And I'm going to make me whole again. I won't ever need to reach outside of myself for validation. Ever again. I realize I am fucking blessed to have the opportunities I do. But I also worked hard and sacrificed a lot, including my own health, to get here. I squashed a lot of trauma down that I didn't even know that I had, and it made me physically sick for an entire year. I am lucky to be in the position I'm in. But I'm not going to squander that blessing. I'm going to do all the digging I can to see how it is that someone is feeling as good as me after all the trauma I just went through, and then I'm going to pass it on so that others can heal too. How do you explain to the general public and not sound like you completely lost your mind? I hope one day each and every person who has read this book will get the chance to find out for themselves. There is magic in this world, and it lives inside of you. Well, the next one is going to actually be a combination of chapter 12 and 13, and you'll find out why next week. But I hope everybody's staying mentally healthy out there right now. Don't you like my sweatshirt? I got it from I got it from a TikToker a long time ago. Thought it was appropriate. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, I'd love for this to see more eyes. I just think looking at the comments section, which I advise everybody not to do on Facebook. I can't help but try to educate people on how narcissists operate. It seems like there's an awful lot of people who don't get, like the politicians in America right now are following the narcissistic abuse textbook in a lot of ways. And if we can just wake up to the way they operate, we can stop falling for the shit. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, please share this. The more people we can educate and the more people we can heal to bring the vibration of this planet up, we can get out of this mess. I don't know how, but we can. All right. Love you guys. Tune in next week.